So now we're doing FreeCodeCamp Legacy Python for everybody, intermediate strings exercise. All right, so let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to Python for...
I told myself I was going to turn the volume down before I started recording, but that's just what I said. All right, so let's go over here. Press left to go to the beginning, left arrow, two times on the right arrow to get to this point. So we're going to be doing exercise 5. We're going to take the following Python code that stores a string, this stuff right here, and we're going to use find and string slicing to extract the portion of the string after the colon character, and then use the float function to convert the extracted string into floating point number. All right, so just telling us exactly what we got to do on this one. So all we got to have open right now is, let's get open the what is this, the py4e, the text editor, whatever it's called. All right, we should have exercise 5 open already. Let's get rid of that, and let's create a new folder. Yes, a new folder inside of here, right? And let's call it ex 0601. It's not 6. 0601. There we go. So let's open this up and let's make a new file right here. And let's call it ex01. Even though it says ex5, I don't care. We're doing it like this. All right, so here we go. And let's make it a Python. How do we do that from here, though? How do we make it a Python? Let's get rid of this. Move to recycle bit. Yes. All right. Let's make a new Let's make a new one right here. Let's say new text file, and then select a language, because I don't know how to do it that way. All right. Let's do Python. There we go. All right. Now let's save it. File save as. Maybe one day we'll figure it out, but not in the middle of this video. All right. Do that. Let's open this one and then call it ex. If you know, let me know in the comments, right? 01. There we go. Save it. Boom. So now we got that open. Also, do I have the... I should have the command prompt open for my rehearsal, but it doesn't look like I kept it open. Good. All right. So here we go. We've got this. So what it said, let's go back to the thing, is we're going to get this string. We're going to use the find and the float to take care of business, all right? So let's start off by putting a string in there, right? We don't need it to be exactly like that because it's just a string. So let's say str equals, let's say just some gobbledygook in front of it, blah, 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 colon, space, and then a number 0.001. How about that? Looks good to me. All right, so now we've got that. So what we're going to do is we're going to find this colon, all right? So let's open up the notes, and let's come down here. And let's actually look up, we don't need to look up anything. We'll come down here and let's go look for the cutting. The cutting, the finding, the slicing, and all that, right? So we've got something like this. Remember when we were finding the @ sign in the email? We can pretty much do the same thing. So we can do something like this, string.find, and we'll find the colon, all right? And then we'll name it something. So let's do that. Let's come over here. Let's say colon. And I don't like doing it like call, pause. I don't like doing it like position. You know, just have a nice word like that. So colon position, 2 words like that. Colon position equals, and then we'll say str.find, and then we'll find the colon like this, all right? So let's check that by saying, pardon me, by saying, not console.log, but print, and then we'll print colon position right there. Let's save it. Let's open up this thing in the File Explorer, right? So right here, let's open up the command line by clicking this and saying cmd like that. All right, so let's press tab to get the only thing inside that folder, which is the x01. Press home and then type in Python. Whoa. Lowercase Python in front of it, right? Press enter and we can see it prints out 8. And as we can see on our notes, it would say print at pos would be 21. So it's going to give us a number, which is the index where the thing that we're looking for is. All right. So that's where it is. Index 8, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like that. Right. So let's look at our notes again. So now that we've got that, we want to do a data.find or a string.find. And they want to find a space after at pos. All right. So that's kind of what we want to do. Maybe that's what we want to do. I don't really want to do it like that though. I'd rather do it like this. Let's do it like this because we know it's going to have, we want everything after the colon. So what we want to do is we'll come down here and say, let's say found. I don't remember what I called it in rehearsal, but let's say found equals str dot. Let's slice it here. Let's slice it like that. Let's do this. And we're going to start at colon position. So let's say colon position, boom, like that. And then we'll have this, but we'll also say +1. All right. So it's at 8, but we don't want to start here. We want to start here, right? So colon position, which was 8. So now we want to start at 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 right here, right? So let's print out found and see what it looks like. Let's copy found, print, oops. Copy, paste, save, come over here to the command line, run it again. Okay, so it does have this stuff, but this is a string right now. If we write this, if we wrap this up and say type and press save, come over here and run it again, we can see it's still a string and we want it to be a float. So that's easy to fix. But the thing is, we also don't want that, we don't want the space in there. So let's take out. So while we're doing this, let's wrap this in parentheses. Actually, let's say dot strip after it. Dot strip like that, right? So remember, we've got this right here. We can just look for it. Stripping white space right here. So the L strip, R strip, where strip removes it from the beginning and the end. So let's just do strip, just because we don't know if somebody's going to put like a space at the end, whatever. All right. So we've got that. So now we know the type is, what is it? The type was string, right? So now all we got to do is turn this thing to float. So let's come back over to notes. Let's do Control F for find. Let's find float like this. So let's go up. Usually directions down, but we know that it was way before this part. So we're going to go up in the notes. Look for it. And here we go. We've got an example right here, float. And then we have a set of parentheses, and then we put something inside of there. Okay. So we'll come over here and we'll wrap this thing up with the strip and everything. And we'll say float like that. All right. Let's push Control S to save it. Come over here and check it out. And we see the class is float. And I think that's all we had to do. Let's look at the thing again. I didn't watch the video as usual. I didn't watch the video before doing this. Maybe he wants us to do other stuff, but as far as this goes, use find and string slicing to extract the portion of the string after the colon character, and then use the float function to convert the extracted string into a floating point number. That's what we just did, right? That's exactly what we just did. There's a float function. Here it is, found, blah, blah, blah. Looks great. Let's get rid of this print. Let's save it, and let's go watch the video, see if we can improve on this a little bit, all right? And go.
Do exercise. Hello and welcome to Python for Everybody.
Hello.
My name is Charles Severance, and I'm the author of the book and the teacher of this class. In this particular session, we are going to do exercise 6.5 from the textbook. It's an exercise in parsing text strings. And so the basic idea is we're going to see strings of various kinds and various lengths, and we're going to want to extract pieces of them, okay? And so the idea is to somehow get this part out and then convert it to a floating point number. This is a proxy for later things where we're actually reading files or reading stuff off the internet, but parsing strings is an important thing for us to do.
True.
Okay? And so let's take a look at a couple of different ways to do this. So let's go
more
ahead
than
and get
one
started.
way.
Let's go bring up our atom, and I've got it open nicely to the right spot here, and I'm going to make a new folder. Hopefully by now you're finding atom EX0605.
Atom doesn't exist
Atom
anymore.
or whatever your programmer editor is sort of a powerful tool. I'll close this one. File, new file, a powerful tool that lets you sort of save a lot of keystrokes, etc., etc. Print exercise 6.5, just for yucks.
Just for chuckles, exercise.
Size, and then file save as. And again, until I save it, it's not going to have the pretty colors. I'm going to save it in 605. ex0605.py, and now it has the pretty colors. And
that expensive Apple keyboard and mouse, you hear those clicks? They're so annoying. It's like, hey man, it's only annoying because I know that they cost thousands and thousands of dollars to get those computers. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen to this. Listen.
Here I am. Now,
and then,
I've been doing these.
Okay. Let's back at it. Back to it.
And here I am. Now, I've been doing these, and so now I'm actually already in a directory. So let me show you how to do relative directory. So I'm in this path right here, and I can use both in Windows and in Mac and in Linux. I can use the command cd ... That sort of thinks of the one before, the one that came before. And so now I'm up one directory. And if I do an ls,
True.
I will see that this new EX0605 that I just created in this directory from Atom is already there. CD EX0605.
I think the reason he's doing it like this is because like he's like really used to it. You know, I mean, the guy, he had to have started coding in the 80s or the 70s. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even the 70s. Maybe actually the 70s. But and this is before Windows and graphical interfaces were invented, right? And so this guy has hundreds, maybe in thousands of hours at staring at black screens with words on them and then just typing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if we're going to get too much into this because, you know, it's 2024 and we're literally learning coding now. But it's good to see that it is possible to fool around thusly. Let's go.
In the next chapter, we'll be talking about files. And this is where you really need to know this concept of folders and files. So ls.
All right. And before we get into that, listen, folders and files, so easy. Just think of a filing cabinet, okay? That's why they came up with this stuff. Let's think of a filing cabinet. It's got folders in it, and inside those folders you can have big folders with little folders inside of it, right? And then inside of the big folders you can have actual pieces of paper. In, you know, the end of it you'll have a lot of pieces of paper, and then you can also have some files in it, you know? And that's just all files are, just files, and then inside the files are pieces of paper, and inside of pieces of paper, inside the folders are pieces of paper, and that's what we're calling the files, is the little pieces of paper. That's what we're calling a piece of paper. We're calling them files, right? And that's all it is. So let's go.
And I'm going to run Python 3 ex0605.py. And there we go, exercise 6.5. So we're sort of in the right spot. We've got this going and we've got this going. Pretty soon we'll be putting stuff in these directories that need to be there. And you'll see how all that'll work in a second. Well, in the next chapter where we've got to know all this stuff. Okay, so we'll just grab this first line here and paste that in. Print stir. So let's run it.
This is that $1,000 mouse. How smooth.
Actually, there's supposed to be a space right there. So I don't know why this space didn't get copied and pasted from my copy and paste. So I'm going to put that space in. There's supposed to be a space right there, I think, but
Put one at
we'll
the end
see.
too.
So the key thing is, if you look at the lectures from this section, you can like look for things and you look for a pattern. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to look for a pattern that says find me a colon. Okay, and I'm going to say, where is there a colon equals stir.find, and then print
Just like
out
us, except for we use an actual word. I cannot stand this. Like, I cannot stand this. I can't even stand this right here. I can't stand that either. It should just be string, right? The word. And I mean, are you really saving that much time by not writing the word out? I mean, you just type it once and then you copy and paste it forever, you know? So why not? You know, whatever. That's what, this is old style thinking. You do whatever you want, but I'm doing the full word.
So I'm going to say, where in this string is there a colon? That's going to give me the position and offset of that. So that says that the colon is in position 18. Now, it's not always going to be 18. Sometimes these strings will be a little bit different. Okay.
That's why we don't say.
The next thing I can do is I can say a small piece of this string is do stir, and then starting from that position, I pose through the end of the string. And then we're going to print that out, print out the piece. And when I'm doing string parsing, tearing strings apart, I tend to have a lot of situations where I print over and over and over again. So now let's see if that piece is the right piece. And the answer is it doesn't quite look right, because see, I've got that colon there. And that's space. Because it says start at 18, position 18, wherever that is, and then keep on going. And so I need to do I pose +1. So let's see, I'll just sort of advance past this little colon character.
All right, let's go look at the thing. Let's go look at what I did. +1. Yeah, look, he's old. Let's not say it. He's seasoned. So this is cool to him. I hate the way this looks. I love the way this looks. Look at it. Nice and readable, not smushed together. You know, let's make it readable. So let's get back to it. Where are you? There we go.
And get into that space. Okay. So let's run it. So now I've got space 08475. And now I can just see it, value equals float of piece, because piece is a string. It's a string, and then I'm going to say print value to see if I got the value right. And let's remember that there's a space here. This might mess up float. I don't think it's going to mess up float.
Will it not?
Float's trying to find a floating point number, and it kind of, but let's just see if it works. Let's just see if it works. Okay, so the key is it's in position, the colon is in position 18. The string we pulled out is blank 08475, and the floating point number is 0.8475. So we've sort of solved this. Now, I can clean this up a little bit by making that +2. So I'll just change that to +2, and you'll see how that changes what I'm doing. And so now this here is the string, that one there is the string, this is the actual floating point number. They're the same thing, other than the fact that it's a floating point number and you can add something to it. So I could do something like print, you know, value plus 42.0, and that would actually work, right? So 42 point, and if I did print piece plus 42.0, that will blow up, right? Yeah. Because piece is a string and 42 is a float.
True.
And says can't convert float object to string implicitly. Okay.
True.
And so, other than sort of taking out this extra stuff, I'm just commenting on a whole bunch of stuff here. Oops.
Okay.
So I take out all those print statements. These 5 lines are the lines to do this particular assignment where we are tearing apart a string. And in the future, the source, this is just so that we can play with strings, but later we'll be taking this data from all over the place. Finally, we're going to start opening some files, and then later in the course, we're going to be opening data from databases. We'll be opening data from the internet. And so there's all kind of sources of data where we get these strings. But for now, we're in chapter 6, and we're only focused on strings.
True.
So I hope you found this useful.
I did.
And coming up soon, we'll be opening files.
Awesome. All right. So there's that. So yeah, kind of different, kind of the same. I guess we should print this out. Print found. All right. He liked to do, let's save it. All right. He liked to do a lot of like have found equal this, and then have found equal this, and then have the next thing be float this, and then that thing. And I just combine it all into one step, you know, but you can do it however you want, honestly. So anyway, that's the end of that. So we're going to get on to, actually, we're done, aren't we? So let's just finish this up. What is the value of I in the following code? Here's the word banana. All right. Word.find na 0, 1, 2, 2, I believe. Let's check the answer. It was awesome, and submit it. All right. So now we're on to reading files, and we'll see you next time.